And I think plant foods, raw plant foods, are definitely one of the key elements for the evolution of our planet on so many levels. Being from the Rocky Mountains, also, I'd like to mention, it seems like a lot of raw food speakers are from California. You know, there's lots of citrus, avocados growing everywhere. Here we don't get too much of that stuff growing. You know, we get some apples, some pears, some plums, peaches for a couple months out of the year. So you know, we're a little more limited. And in Boulder here, we have a lot of people who are into Eastern medicine, which is fantastic. The only thing is, there's the whole issue of warming foods, and a lot of people believe that a warming food is a cooked food. And I think one thing we need to keep in mind, like, yeah, in the winter in Colorado, we need warming foods, and we need lots of warming foods if we're gonna stay warm, because if we eat mangoes all winter, we're gonna get cold probably. So a little bit about what a truly warming food is. A warming food is not a cooked food. In turn, when you ingest a cooked food, it may seem warm to the palate, and it may warm up your body for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but then once the process of digestion begins, all the energy that was used to heat the body is now used for the process of the digestion of this food, this substance. So what a truly warming food is going to be a food that's usually like a high sulfur rich food is going to be a truly warming food. Your peppers, your spicy radishes, certain vegetables, lots of nuts are really warming. Surprisingly, dates are super warming. Things you would have no idea are warming. And it's only in the raw state, basically. So a true warming food is not a cooked food. That's just something that needs to be elaborated on. Maybe there is some type of mistranslation through the Oriental medicine on this topic particularly, but a warming food is not a cooked food. So anyone that's hung out with me this past winter would know that I'm on fire most of the time, and a lot of people around here are always freezing. I wear a t-shirt most of the time. So it's definitely crucial to incorporate lots of cayennes and even garlic and onions, depending on what your religious beliefs are. Maybe you might not want to ingest garlic and onions for certain reasons, but warming foods. Also, a little bit about the organics. It is crucial to eat 100% organic. However, there are certain foods that contain minimal pesticide residues, and I think it's good to know that, because here in this town we don't always have the best access to food, to certain produce. It's good to know that avocados have minimal pesticide residues, if any. Most nuts have minimal pesticide residues. The only ones that contain pesticide residues are peanuts, which contain well over 100 different pesticide residues, and pecans, which contain about 30 different pesticide residues at least. The rest of the nuts contain pretty much no pesticide residues, so that's good to keep in mind. A little bit about nuts and seeds. It is very essential to enhance the nutrient value of the nuts and seeds, especially for the beginning raw foodist, to soak the nuts. Soak the nuts overnight in filtered water. It totally enhances the protein content, it enhances the vitamin content, and not only that, it breaks down what most nuts have, especially skin nuts have, the enzyme inhibitors, which do inhibit the digestion of the nut itself, and once they're broken down, they're fully digestible, assuming that you chew it. So when they're not, the enzyme inhibitors completely inhibit the digestion, make it very hard to break down within the system. Seeds are a little bit easier, and after a while, after being on a solid raw diet for a year or two, you might want to just start incorporating unsoaked seeds and nuts to strengthen digestion. But at first, especially with the nuts, it's going to help you out a lot to soak those overnight to enhance everything for you and digestion. You may experience some discomfort when you first begin a diet, lots of bloating and gas. or a lot of people say they eat like raw kale and get gassy. That's because those things like raw kale are like scouring pads within the colon, and they're loosening old residue that's in the colon, and they're like bringing it out, and that can create some discomfort and some gas. One thing that I'd recommend, as I said earlier, is definitely take enzymes for the first year maybe, or until you feel like you don't need them anymore. High quality enzymes though, you definitely would want to find the most high quality plant enzymes that you can find. And probiotics, friendly bacteria, are crucial. I highly recommend probiotics for as long as possible. They definitely assist in creating a better atmosphere within the colon. So those are some key things to incorporate when transitioning into the raw diet. Superfoods are very key when transitioning also, because they're going to provide you with all the minerals that you would possibly need, as with sea vegetables. I'm a big fan of bee pollen, and usually the bee pollen for the hardcore vegan, bee pollen is harvested completely ethically in 9 out of 10 cases. You can definitely investigate where you get your pollen from, but it's completely vegan, completely ethical. It's produced by the bees, and it just drops. The bees don't really use any of it. They go past the screen, and the pollen falls through, and there's nothing really to do with it but eat it. And it's one of the ultimate superfoods. It probably is the ultimate biogenic food known to humanity. It contains every single amino acid that we know of, over 5,000 enzymes and coenzymes. It's the most complete protein, ounce for ounce that you can get. It's got complex carbohydrates, simple carbohydrates, perfect good fats, unsaturated fats. It's got everything in it. The average human could survive on 3 tablespoons a day of bee pollen and be overnourished. Every vitamin and mineral that there is in it. So anyone that was against bee pollen might want to reconsider maybe doing a little more research on it, because it is the ultimate food, period. And I'd highly recommend it for anyone or any ailment that anyone might have.
Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, your history, and lead up to your involvement with your schooling now, which is the history of what got you to eat raw foods in the first place, and then your schooling. You went to nutrition school, I understand, right?
Well, I got into raw foods over 2.5 years ago. It's something that I had been studying for a while, and I was really into it, but I just needed some help making that next step. And I met one of the top chefs in the whole movement. His name was Chad, and he just sparked me, showed me that, because I was unaware that you could make all the gourmet raw food that you can make. I didn't know about all this stuff, and I was eating my salad after salad after salad, and got a little monotonous. And then he showed me that you can make pretty much anything you want. So that was all I needed to really make me jump in. So I decided to go to the Living Lights Culinary Arts Institute, headed by Sherry Soria, and I went to that program and became a certified live foods chef and instructor, which just topped it off for me. And ever since then, I've just dove in head on. I knew it was the path for me. It was my healing path for humanity. It was healing through foods. And I've worked for Nature's First Law, David Wolf's company, a little bit. I've worked with numerous different people. I've been a personal chef, done numerous demos. I still am a personal chef. And then I chose to come last year to Boulder and go to the Nutrition Therapy Institute of Colorado, where I became a nutritionist. So now I'm a nutritionist, chef, do it all. So I'm constantly expanding my knowledge of the topic of nutrition, incorporating everything that I know into it with a more scientific base for scientifically minded, and constantly evolving on my recipes. I'm a big advocate of superfoods, obviously. I love superfoods, and I'm really into juices and juice fasting. I do consultations, and I do whatever I can do to help. So that's kind of my background on the whole thing.